All right, welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel for another episode of the platform bedroom build. So I have some electrical wiring to do in here today, so we'll get to that. So I have an outlet here, I have an outlet back there, and I had an outlet over here that I capped off. I may still use that, I'm not sure yet. And then I removed a cable jack that I'm just gonna drive all over that spot. There's also going to be a desk in front of this. I haven't put those supports back up yet. I'm going to wait. I've got to put some plywood in here first, then I'll do that. But right now what I need to do is work on getting some wiring ran to a few different things. There's going to be lights in both of these underneath storage spaces, so I need to run electrical to that. There'll be an outlet underneath the desk, so that'll be right there. I'm going to be covering the inside of this with some 1/2-inch plywood that will be screwed on. This is considered a removable panel. I do expect that, kids may crawl in here and hide and play around and goof around and different things like that. We'll have boxes and things that might be slid around in there. And so I do want to cover the wiring as much as possible because I don't want wires to get hit or cut or anything like that. And so I'll do the best I can to cover that all inside there with some plywood down the road. So today the job is to get all of my connections made and all the boxes put in. So let's dig in and get some of this electrical work done and see how this all turns out. All right, so I've got the 2 outlets put in that will go at the head of the bed, so that'll be to charge devices or whatever. And then we've got the, I'm basically decided to do this a little bit differently, so I'm gonna wire everything is gonna kind of go into that light box. I'm gonna try to use that as my main junction box. So I'm gonna have power coming out of that outlet and then just go through into that box, and everything else is tied into that. So that's what I ended up going with. Those are called old work boxes. For those of you who are wondering, they go right into you just cut the hole in the drywall. They go right in there. They're not mounted to a stud or anything. They just clamp right to the drywall as you screw those screws in. And so those are nice and secure in there. And so the next thing we need to do is work on the other side. I need to get power to this outlet box. We were going to put some stair lights, one in the drywall here and then one on the other side of the desk. And I was going to use these LED lights that basically they're kind of like stair lights or hallway lights. There's another picture on the other side here of how they can be used in stairs. And so we were going to kind of illuminate the stair that's going to be right here. But after some consideration with there being a switch involved and some other things, I think what we decided to do is use these 3 lights to light up the inside of the underneath of the trap door here. So instead of using a pull chain box in here for a little light bulb, I'm gonna hook up 3 of these boxes, the square boxes or rectangular boxes, and then we'll put the LED lights and a switch in here with the trap door. So I'm gonna get all that wired up. I'm gonna use wire just out of that outlet. I'm gonna run power to here, out of here to the first box, the second box, the third box, and then that will be all done. So let's get to work and get the rest of this wiring done. All right, so I've got main power coming into the box right here. Every time I do electrical, I show off this little tool. It's a cheap little thing. It's called a little ripper. And basically you just kind of feed it on here and push it on up. And it peels that off. Isn't that nice? All we're doing in this is connecting everything together, all the matching ones. So there's a couple different size wire nuts. This is just basic stuff, I guess. So the yellow wire nuts, I think these are good for a maximum of 2 number 12 wire, which would be like a 20 amp circuit. So this can connect together two 12s. I think 3 or probably even maybe 4 14s, probably 3 14s would be the max, I would think, for one of these. Hook up all my whites. So I've got power coming in, I've got my commons that go out to the 2 outlets, and then I've got my little pigtail that'll go to this light socket. So this is the last box that I have to wire. Basically these little LED lights, they're stair lights, and they have little LEDs in the top of them. They just get wired in black to black, white to white, ground to ground. And then the cover that's on it has like a little transparent spot in the top of it, and that lines up with here, just clips in here. So the LEDs there shine through. It doesn't sound like these are very bright, and so I'm not even sure if they're gonna illuminate this underneath here well enough, but we'll give them a shot since I already bought them, and it's kind of a pain to return them at this point, so we'll just give them a try. The only thing left to do is actually tie it into the electrical. So I'm going to take that outlet out and tie that one in there. And then I've got a wire hanging right here that's going to get tied in back there. Figure out which breaker goes to these outlets, get it shut off, and get it done. Well, things changed a little bit. Kind of a mistake that I made here. So let me show you what happened. When I was hooking the TV up the other day, I flipped the breaker off, and there was an outlet right here, and 15 amp breaker, flipped it off, killed the circuit. I was working on all the stuff, added the outlet behind the TV and everything, and so I assumed that it also fed the rest of these outlets. Well, this is actually that outlet, and the rest of the outlets in this room, including that one, the two that I was going to tie into, are actually on a 20 amp breaker. So that changes things for me, because I ran all 14 gauge or 14.2 wire in here, which is only rated for a 15 amp circuit, plus all my outlets, and all this stuff is all 15 amp stuff. So what I'm going to need to do is just make some adjustments here. I'm going to just leave these outlets in there. So I'm just going to put the face plates back on these outlets. We're just going to leave them, and I'm going to run a wire out of this box right here, which I know is on a 15 amp circuit. I didn't want to have to do that, but I guess that's what I'll be doing. So to fix the mess, I'll be running out of that box right there, and then we'll power over to this outlet, and then we'll come out of this one all the way around and power that, and that powers everything. So well, I think everything turned out pretty darn good. Power's back on, everything is working, all the outlets are tested, lights are tested, and I'm pretty happy with how everything came out here. So we'll have the light switch here, and that will turn on the lights underneath, so the storage area will have some light in it. Pull chain, and then that will light up that area pretty good for storage. So the only access to this storage area will be through a door in the front, so you'll be able to slide bins and things back there, and then this one will have the trap door. So with a full-size mattress, or even a queen size would fit in here, you have an outlet on each side of the bed where you can plug in a phone or something like that and charge, which I think will be pretty nice. So those turned out pretty good. Well, definitely a lot more left to do in here, and sometimes projects go nice and smooth, and sometimes we hit snags, and that definitely happened during this project. But I did get everything done, everything works, and the circuit issue really worked out just fine. I did have the other 15 amp outlet in here. It's on a separate circuit, and that's a kind of an underutilized circuit anyway, and so adding a few outlets and stuff like that in here and some LED lights isn't going to hurt that at all. And I'm actually happy that I found out that these other outlets are 20 amp in here, which I didn't know. So Hopefully the wiring is right. I'll have to check that. Let me know what you guys think. I'll take lots of suggestions. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think I should do. Have any ideas? Anything cool I should look into before I move on to the next phase? I always like to take your ideas and incorporate them into these projects. So don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video, and of course subscribe to the SSL Family Dad channel if this is your first time here. We love to have you tag along. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.